every single day to practice consistency, the number one most important quality, to build a little bit of community, and hopefully to make the suffering we're about to do on the floor a little bit more fun, a little less suffering. So, if you're ready, I think it's time for us to begin. Oh man, my knees, my joints. It's gotten a little bit colder than the previous days. The other day, I was saying how it's so hot, and I broke a sweat real hard during our live. And I think today might be the day it's the opposite. I'm definitely not sweating. I'm a little chilly, I'm a little cold, and my joints are telling me the same. Che, welcome back. Hello, hello. All right. Whew. If you're just hopping in, we're gonna give a couple more seconds actually to have a couple of the notifications go out, and then we're gonna get started. So shake those shoulders out, do a little dance. What dance in particular? I don't know. You're gonna have to decide for yourself. But if anything feels weird, feels like it needs a little attention, go ahead and give yourself some attention. And 3, 2, 1, let's go. We're doing 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work. We do this every single day to practice consistency, to build a little community, and to make the suffering that we're about to do a little bit more fun and a little less suffering. Cool? So if you like that, keep on hanging out, follow along, got some stretching to do, and hit follow, hit subscribe if you're like, hey, this is the place I want to be because this is cool. Okay, cool. All right, let's go. We're going to start with hip cars. They look a little bit like this. We're going to start by lifting this knee up in front as high as we can. Contract the muscles in your hip and bring that leg up. Whew. From here, we're going to open up that leg to the side. Your hip, I don't want to move. So I don't want you to go wee and then start spinning around. That's too much movement. Hips stay in the same spot. It's just this leg that's going over. All right. From here, we are going to rotate this ankle. We're going to rotate it back. Rotate, 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 rotate. Oh, if you can get it to this horizontal position, great. If you can get further and bring that ankle up higher, oh, that is even better. Bring the leg down and back. Flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes, feel the stretch here in the hip flexor. From the front, when you bring it down and back, it literally is just going down and back. It's almost completely hidden behind the shorts. All right, that is 1 rep. We're gonna do 10 of these in total, and I think we're about ready to begin. User 708 says, I did deep knee bends. Oh, hold on. Scroll it down. I'm almost there. I did deep knee bends and step ups yesterday and ankle lifts yesterday. I did them again today. Oh boy. Ooh, it sounds like a lot. It sounds like you covered a whole bunch of different joints and did a whole bunch of range of motion. So if you need to take it easy on the splits and on the stretches and on this other stuff today, take it easy. It's not that important that you get the maximum stretch that you get every single day. Some days when you take it easy, take it chill, just go through the motions, lube up the joints, and with that, let's go. Lube it up joints. Whew. Stay up nice and straight. High knee. Lift that knee as high as you can, unless you're super tired, in which case you can just go through the motions. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Up some more. Down and back. That's 1. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 2 high knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 3 high knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 4 high knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 5 high knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 6 high knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 7 high knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 8 high knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 9. Last 1 high knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 10. Whew. If you didn't notice, I was resting my arm against the wall to help with balance. I was trying to keep my leg in the same exact spot the whole entire time so that the hips weren't twisting as much. If your hips are doing a whole bunch while your legs are moving, it's doing a little bit too much. You want to keep the hips relatively stable so that every little bit of movement that you do is getting the parts that matter. All right. Other leg, spinning around. Let's go. Other side. Hand on wall for balance, and let's begin. Nice and tight core. Whew, high knee. Open. Ankle up. Ankle up some more. Down and back. That's 1 high knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 2 high knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 3 high knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 4 high knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back, that's 5 high knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back, that's 6 high knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back, that's 7 high knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back, that's 8. 2 more high knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back, that's 9. Last one high knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back, that's 10. Ooh, I'm about to get a hamstring cramp. Thankfully, we wrapped up that hip guard. Ooh. Hip guards are all about using your own muscles to get into that maximum range of motion, get as high as you can. The thing that we opened with, for example, was the high knee. We're trying to lift it as high as we can. Usually, if we were to pull that knee up into the chest with our hands, it'd probably go up a little bit higher. Most of the time, you're going to have a little bit more flexibility than you can actually actively get into. And what we're trying to do is increase our active ability to go do cool things so that we're not reliant on outside pressure to, lift up our legs and stuff. Cool? We're getting mobility and building strength to do it. Cool? Hip curls. Forward. Done. Now we're going to go in reverse. In reverse, we're basically hitting all the same places. We're going just in reverse order. There's one thing I want you to emphasize, and that is keeping the core very, very strong, keeping it very tight. That is because the first thing we do when we reverse the hip curls is bring this leg down and back. Because it's the first move, we tend to get a little excited and go, hoo-ah! And start really trying to bring that leg back. We get into a situation where you put a whole bunch of tension in the low back, right here. You see that arch? See that bend? You start twerking in the back. It's a little bit like this. That's too much bending. All right, so keep that core nice and tight. You can hold your arm here if you want, or hold your arm in the front, just to keep a physical check if you want to. And that's it. Ready? Let's do this. Arm on the side of the wall for balance. Keep that core tight. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's one. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's two. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's three. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's four. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's five. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, six. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, eight. What is it, seven? Seven. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, eight. Two more. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, nine. Last one. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, 10. Oh, that is 75%, 3/4 of our hip curls. We got 25 more percentage points to go. We got one last leg, which means we got 10 more reps. All right. Breathe. And when you're ready to surrender yourself to the hip curls, it's time to begin. Arm out to the side for balance. Core nice and strong and tight. Bring that leg down and back. Ooh, flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes, pull this hip back. You're feeling it right here in the hip flexor. From here, lifting to the side. Then rotating the ankle up as high as we can. Bring the ankle down, lifting the knee as high as we can, finishing by bringing the knee forward. That's one. We're not going to count it though. That was just a demonstration. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's one. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's two. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. Three. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. Four. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. Five. If you are struggling with these and you're working really hard and you're grunting and making lots of noise, that is perfect. This is 7. If you have not heard my obnoxiously loud breathing already, make sure to also breathe yourself. Open, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's 9. Last one. Let's do it. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. Oh, that is all of our hip cuts. That is our first warm-up exercise. If you're just joining and you're going, what is this grown man doing, grunting and making so much noise? We're doing 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching, and hip mobility work. We do this every single day to practice the number one in quality consistency. Hopefully, build a little bit of community, and together, hopefully making the side splits a little less just pure suffering and a little bit more fun. So if you like that, make sure to hit follow, hit subscribe, and keep on sticking around. We go live every day at 9 p.m. Eastern. That means we started like, I don't know, 10 minutes ago. 10 minutes ago, exactly on the dot. Boom. Okay, we're gonna get on into our second warm-up exercise. And it's a little bit more chill than the hip cars. It looks a little bit like this. We're gonna fold at our hips and bring our belly button down into the ground. Whew. From here, I want you to just chill and breathe. Flop over. Relax. If you have a tight low back, because probably all of us do, let your low back relax and let it chill. Just take some nice chill breaths in and slowly let that air out. Exhale. From here, when your low back is relaxed-ish and you're feeling it mostly in your hamstrings, we're ready to begin. We're gonna bend one knee. We're gonna straighten out the other leg. We're gonna focus on bringing that belly button down into the ground. Feel that hamstring stretch on both legs, and we're gonna switch. Oof, hamstring stretch. And back. Oh, hamstring stretch. Oof. Keep going. You should feel a little bit of the hamstring stretch in both legs all the time. And you'll feel the tension sort of change and shift positions in the hamstring depending on whether that leg is bent or that leg is straight. If you're feeling some tingliness up here in the butt area, that is often because your hamstrings become tendons and your tendons connect into your glutes area. And by glutes area, I mean the bottom of your pelvis, which is probably just underneath the glutes where you're feeling it. Oh, I got distracted for a second. I lost my train of thought because I was like, oh man, the stretch is tingling. All right. Elsewhere, you might be feeling a stretch in your calves and in your feet and in your toes. You might be feeling a little bit of a tingliness. That tingliness, especially in the toes and calves, is probably nerve flossing, nerve stretching, nerve gliding related. It's the stretching of nerves. And in general, it's going to be fine. As long as you're not being super explosive and crazy with it, you're good. From here, hopefully, after all that talking from me, you're feeling a little bit looser. I want you to try to bring that belly button down a little bit deeper, fold a little bit deeper into the stretch. And we're going to go for 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Pop into a little bit of a squat. Come on back into standing. And that is warm-up exercise number 2. We're going to do a little wiggle, do a little shake, loosen up those hips, loosen up those hamstrings for a second, and then we're going to get into some thoracic rotation. The thoracic spine is the middle half of your spine between your low back and your neck. It is the most movement friendly part of your spine. You can bend sideways, you can bend forward and back, and you can also rotate. What we're going to do next is called thoracic rotation, which means we're going to rotate our spines. All right. And the way I want you to set this up is the same thing that we were doing before. One leg is bent, one leg is straight. But this time, the arm from the bent leg side is going to reach across to the opposite shin bone. It's going to push against the straight leg to help open up our chest, force that rotation to happen. Extend the other arm up into the air behind you over your shoulder. Your neck is rotating to look at that hand. And I want you to breathe. On the inhale, don't do anything. On the exhale, reach further. Ready? Inhale. Exhale. Oh, that is half a rep. We're gonna do 5 of these together. We got 4.5 more to go. Let's go. Other leg bent. Leg that was bent, straight. Arm from the bent leg side reaches across to the straight leg. Push against that shin. Open, 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 open. And breathe. That is 1 rep. We got 4 more to do. Let's go. Open, 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 open. Breathe. Exhale. Other side. Open, open, open. Reach, breathe. Ah. That's 2. 3 more. Open and breathe. Other side. Open and breathe. That's 3. 2 more. Open. Ah. And 1 more. We got one more rep to do. So I'm gonna re-explain everything one last time in case you just jumped in. One leg is bent, one leg is straight. Arm from the bent leg side is reaching across the body, pushing against the straight leg. When you push, you're gonna open up your chest in the opposite direction. You're gonna reach one hand up into the air as far back as you can. Look up at that hand and breathe. Exhale, reach. Oh, other side. Oh, once you've reached the max, inhale. Exhale and reach some more. That is 5 reps of thoracic rotation. Hopefully, your spine is feeling a little bit looser. I talk fast, but that does not mean you have to move fast. If something felt really intense, really painful, you probably should stop. And it's probably a little bit late for that warning now, but I hope you're okay. We're going to continue on into our third and final warm-up exercise. All right, what we're going to do is called the Cossack switch. The Cossack switch looks a little bit like this. We're going to drop down to one leg right here. The other leg is going to be extended out to the side. Basically, this is a side split. Here, you're basically doing a deep squat. What we want to do is switch from side to side and do a couple of those. But most of us, you're going to have some ankle issues, maybe some hip issues, maybe some knee issues, and not be able to get really far down. So let's pre-stretch this position before we get into the Cossack switches. What I want you to do is try your best to sit in a deep squat. If you have to come down and it's a little bit challenging, it's a little bit awkward, that's totally fine. Try to bring your knees to your chest. Try to lean forward so that your ankles are coming a little bit off the ground. When you're leaning forward, you're going to feel a huge stretch in your Achilles tendon and in your calves. You can poke those calves to double check that they are tense and stretched out. And you can just hang out here for a little bit. All right. From here, when you're a little bit more comfortable in this position, I want you to do a little wiggle, do a little dance, shake out those hips, and open up those hips. All right, because what we're about to do is going to be way worse than what we're doing right now. Just maneuvering around down here in your hips. Whew. When you've hung out here for a little bit, we're going to be basically as prepared as we're going to be with some Cossack switches. All right, I'm going to demonstrate one, and then we're going to do 10 together. All right, your hands, we're pulling your chest to your knees. You can stick those hands straight down into the ground. We're going to extend one leg out to the side, heel is down. Then we're going to get this heel also down on the ground. Get that heel down and then get as low to the ground as you can. If you're newer to this, you haven't done very many of these lives. If you're this high up, it's absolutely fine. Part of the process is where we all begin. All right. If you're much lower to the ground, great. Next up, we're going to scoot our butts over to the other side. So if you can, awesome. If you need a little bit of assistance, maybe you're lower down and you're like, oh man, my hips are not strong enough for this. You can put your hands down and help walk your hips over. When you get to the other side, I want you to sink and squish into that stretch. Get as small, get as compact as you can, deep into that stretch, and then come back and squish some more. That is the whole thing. That's all you need to get started. I hope you're ready because we're going to go. We got 10 reps. Let's go. We were here. One leg is extended, heel is down. This foot, the heel is down. Get as low as you can, wherever that is. And let's begin. 1, over, squish, and back. Over, squish, and over. Squish, and back. This is 2. We're only doing 10. We're already 20% of the way there. 30% of the way there. If you don't need to use your hands on the floor, feel free to not use your hands on the floor. That's 40%, I think. Whew, 50%. We're already halfway done. Keep going. If I'm going really fast and you aren't able to keep up, don't worry. I got lots of talking to do and I'll slow things down. That's 60%. If you are ready to get quite a bit more stress in your low back and stronger, you can try and sit up a little bit straighter and extend your arms out in front of you. If you're not ready for this, keep going as usual. You don't have to change anything. And I think this is 80%. We got 2 left. If the inside of your knees right here are getting a little bit tender, a little bit sensitive, you can choose to come up, come across, and then sit into that deep position. Come up, come across, sit in that deep position. That takes off some of the pressure in your knees when you're in that transition space, and it lets you still sink into the stretch. This is the last one. Let's go. Across, Oh, squish and back, squish and that, my peoples, is our Cossack switches. And that is our third and final warm-up exercise. We're done with warm-up. If that sentence scared you, you're like, this is just the warm-up. My legs are already so tired. How can this get more intense? Don't worry. This is a stretching and mobility show. And we just need to get our heart rate up. We need to get our muscles warmed up, our hamstrings, our hips prepared so that we can get the most out of our stretches. So grab a sip of water and prepare to grab a little bit of foam. I got a big old sheet of foam because I like stuff like this and I'm a fitness nerd. You don't have to have anything fancy at all. It could be a flip flop, stick around your knee, perfect. Could be a dirty towel that should be in the wash but hasn't quite made it yet because you haven't done laundry. Totally fine. Roll it up, stick it under your knee. Could be a shoe you don't care about, your dog bed, your couch cushion, decorative pillow, anything that will give your knee just a little bit of padding will do. And what we're gonna do with that padding is put our knee right on top of it and get into this position. If you can, drop both your knees down on top of your little bit of cushioning and take a look at what your hips are doing. I want you to maintain this hip position throughout the stretch. The next stretch that we're doing is the hamstring stretch. And the way we're going to do it looks a little bit like this. We're going to extend one leg out in front, have one leg going straight down into the ground. Our hips are squared, so the hips didn't change at all between me sticking the leg out and me dropping the leg down. I don't want you to get into a situation where as soon as you start extending that leg, your hip starts shooting out forward in that direction. Your back leg gets left behind there, and now you're at a twisted angle. All right, this is cool. We're working on some front splits, but you're adding a whole bunch of other stuff into the stretch, and we're not going to be able to focus on any one particularly well. All right, so pull that hip in, square it up, and we're ready to continue. From here, we're folding. Bring the belly button down to the thigh, and this is our starting position. I'm going to spin around so you don't have to stare at the top of my head, and you guys don't have to do anything because I cannot stare at the top of your head. All right, from here, we're folded. I just want you to breathe, and I want you to chill, and I want you to relax into the hamstring stretch. Okay? Once you're here, I want you to imagine your toes being relaxed, your feet being relaxed, your calves being relaxed, your hamstrings, if they can be relaxed, your glutes, your low back, as much of your body relaxed as possible. And I want you to keep breathing and sigh out all that tension in your body. All right. From here, we're going to pick up the intensity. We're going to get harder. I want you to take a big inhale. And I don't want you to inhale and then suddenly inflate like a balloon. I want you to inhale and stay where you are, but fill those lungs with air. And then I want you to slowly exhale. While you exhale, I want you to focus on this belly button. I want you to focus on bringing it down to the ground, folding forward. All right? That's our next step. Let's do it. Inhale. Exhale and fold. Bring that belly button down. Down, 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 down. Oh, okay. Your hamstrings are probably a little bit tighter. You're probably a little bit less happy with yourself being in this position, unless you really like being flexible, and then maybe you're surprised and happy, but otherwise, this probably is a little uncomfortable. From here, again, relax your feet, relax your toes, relax your calves, relax your glutes, relax your low back, relax your hamstrings if they will. The best thing you can do is take some nice, gentle breaths and sigh out all of the air in your lungs so you can fold forward. All right, once you hung out here for a little bit, you've done some breathing. I want you to check if your knee hurts, you can give it a slight bend. When you give it a slight bend, it takes a whole bunch of pressure off the knee. It also reduces the intensity of the hamstring stretch. You might be able to fold a little bit more down without that hamstring stretch, pulling on that back of your knee area. If that's the case, great. Fold forward. Cool. From here, we do another inhale, exhale, fold, and we're going to start at 30 seconds. All right, let's go. Inhale. Exhale and fold. Fold, 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 fold. If you folded so much that your chest is touching your knee, but you're like, but my leg is bent. Now you can start straightening out your leg and getting that last little bit. All right. If you weren't
getting super far folded and you were feeling pressure and pain in your knee before, that was just unnecessary pain. All right. But now that your chest is as low as your knee and you can't get any further this way, you can straighten out your leg and work on that last little bit of flexibility. All right, 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. If you didn't have knee pain and you're just folding forward, that's also totally fine. 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18. Keep on breathing, trying to relax into that stretch. Relax the feet, relax the toes, relax the calves, relax the glutes, relax the low back. And if the hamstrings will chill out, great. You can stab your fingers deep into your hamstrings to massage them to distract your brain from how intense this feels. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, that's it. Come on up out of that stretch. Ooh, that is our hamstring stretch. We're gonna switch on over to the other side and we're gonna continue. All right, other side. Square up those hips. Extend the leg that's being stretched forward. And we're gonna fold the belly button down. Fold, 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 fold. If you get stuck pretty high up, it's totally fine. It's part of the process. As you spend more time here, as your muscles get lengthened, you'll start folding more and more and more forward. All right, the stretch doesn't change just because you are more or less flexible. As long as you're able to get past, back being straight up and you have a little bit of force pulling you forward, the stretch is the same for everybody. Cool? Bring that belly button down. Fold, 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 fold. Oh, feel that hamstring stretch. Ho, 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 ho. Breathe. Sigh. Relax all the tension in your body. Try and drop and fold yourself deeper into that leg. And inhale, exhale, fold. You ready? Let's go. Inhale. Exhale and fold. If your neck is bent and you're trying to smash your face into your knee, or you're feeling a whole bunch of pressure in your upper back, in your neck, you're working too hard. My back is rounded because I'm lazy. I'm not holding tension in my body, not because I'm actively trying to squish my face into my knee. All right. So relax, relax the upper back. All of the stretching is coming from the angle of your hips. We're folding that belly button down into the thigh. And we're ready for one last inhale, exhale, fold. Let's do it. Inhale, exhale, and fold. Wow. Again, if you need to bend the knee, bend the knee. All right. 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, that's it. Oh, come on out of that stretch. Oof. That is our very intense hamstring stretch. If your legs are super tired right now, that sounds about right. We spent a lot of time forcing ourselves into slightly deeper and deeper and deeper positions, giving ourselves time to breathe, forcing a specific moment in time where we're folding forward very intentionally. A lot of the time we get into these stretches and we're just like, okay, just hang out for 30 seconds, right? I find that setting a moment aside to say inhale, exhale, fold, and making that effort a little bit at a time and systematizing it helps me to get a lot deeper. If I didn't have the inhale, exhale, fold, I would just be lazy and I'd get stuck really, really high up. But because I do the inhale, exhale, and fold, and I'm really, 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 really trying to, in that moment when I fold, it makes it so that I feel like I'm working a little bit harder, and I think the result is I fold a little bit deeper. Let me know if you find that it's different for you, and maybe I'll adjust the show accordingly. Okay, that is our first stretch. We got 5 stretches in total. we're moving on into number two. Number two is the butterfly stretch. The way I want you to set this up is I want you to sit up against the wall, okay? With your butt, your low back, your mid back, your shoulders, your head, everything flopped against the wall. And boom, feel that nice straight posture for half a second. From here, we're going to bring our feet together and we're going to pull the feet in towards our groin. All right. And pull it in. From here, we're set. This is our starting position for the butterfly stretch. What I want you to do is to bring your knees down into the ground because this stretch is all about stretching out the groin. And the way you stretch out the groin in this position is by bringing your knees down into the ground. But I want you to get stronger and I want you to get more powerful whenever we stretch together. So I want you to use your outer thigh muscles. I want you to use your glutes to help rip your legs open. And it looks a little bit like this, a lot less dramatic than my voice. Whee! The legs are opening, the knees are coming down, and you're just trying your very bestest to bring the knees a little bit deeper into the ground. If you're not quite strong enough to do anything, you feel like your legs are completely stuck, they haven't gone anywhere. If you're feeling a stretch here in the inside of your thighs, in your groin-ish area, you're probably doing the right thing, and it's okay. From here, we're going to take our hands, we're going to apply a little bit of pressure just below the knee, and I want you to push, 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 push. When you push your legs down, your shoulders are also getting pushed back. Hypothetically, your shoulders and the back of your head are getting pushed into the wall. So if you're feeling a lot of pressure there, that is why, and that is totally normal. With that, already 30 seconds, let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. Push those legs down. 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. Keep on breathing. Don't hold your breath. 13, 12. Apply a little bit more force with your hands. See if that takes you a little bit deeper. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Keep on applying some more pressure. 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, let your hands go. If you've been applying a whole bunch of force into those legs, you'll kind of just give them a gentle shake like you're a little T-Rex. And we're ready to continue. Next up, I want you to flap the wings of your butterfly. In this butterfly stretch, I want you to bring your knees up and down. I'm pretty sure the YouTube microphone just failed. So you're gonna have to hear it from the phone picking up audio from way over there, and that might not sound as good. So if you suddenly notice the audio quality has gotten worse over on YouTube, that is why. Whew. Hope you're flapping the wings of this butterfly. And when they're moving up and down, we're ready to continue. We're moving on to our third stretch. Oh, it is called the pancake. And you don't need the foam, you don't need the protection, you don't need the cushion. You can toss that over to the side. All right. From here in the pancake, we're going to open up our legs nice and wide. All right. And we are trying our best not to feel any discomfort here in the outside of the hip. If you're feeling a pinching sensation, you've gone too far. Bring those legs back just a little bit. All right. When that pinching sensation is gone, we're ready to fold. Focus on that belly button. Bring it down, face the ground, and boom, we are in our starting position. This is how we're starting the standing pancake. All right. From the side, it's going to look a little bit like this. Whee! The pancake is all about having your body do this. Your upper body is folding into your legs. And I'll demonstrate like half of one because I can't get any further. Whee! Okay, boom. That's our pancake. Is really hard, is really intense. And what we want to do, especially for the sake of this show, especially for our newbies, is to get gravity to work as hard for us as possible. The way you get gravity to work for you is by bringing your upper body as close to horizontal as possible and then increasing the length of that lever. So you can extend your arms past your ears, so your biceps are by your ears, and that should make the whole thing a little bit more difficult. If you want to hold something in your hands, add a little bit of extra weight, that will make everything even worse and more awful. And you can absolutely do that if you like. When I say worse and more awful, I mean the stretch is going to feel worse because it's going to be way more intense, not because it's actually bad for the stretch. If you're ready for it, you can feel free to add some weight. Okay. If you feel like your face is getting too close to the floor and it's not feeling very safe, I recommend you try to stick your butt back behind you and extend those arms out in front of you to help counterbalance a little bit. When you do that, you actually bring your body closer to horizontal again, and gravity starts working real hard once again. So we've gone from here with our legs going straight up to butt back a little bit and having our backs a little straighter. Cool? Hope that makes sense because that's all the explanation I'm going to do. We are ready. You can try to open up your legs a little bit wider if you'd like. That will put a bunch more pressure into the inner thigh muscles, the ADD ductors, and bring that belly button down. Fold forward, fold forward, fold forward, fold forward. Extend your arms past your head if you like. 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22. Keep on breathing. Inhale, exhale. Try to fold your belly button down in between your legs. 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, put your hands down. Ah, that is our standing pancake. Whew. If your legs are not working right now and you're kind of stuck in this position, I recommend you try to wiggle your toes in towards the center of your body. Wiggle your heels in, wiggle your toes in, wiggle your heels in, wiggle your toes in, wiggle your heels in, wiggle your toes in, wiggle your heels in, wiggle your toes in. And after a couple more minutes of that, you might get back into a position that looks kind of like you being totally hunched over. And when you're here, pop into a little bit of a squat. Come back up into standing. Oh, massage out your old person back for a second, and we should be good to start standing. If you need more time, take your time. I'm just gonna ramble about the stretch for a second. In the meantime, shake out your legs, do a little dance, move. What we just did was put a whole bunch of pressure on our inner thigh muscles. These muscles are absolutely critical for our side splits, and they are the main muscle that's getting stretched when we are doing the side splits. So, in the pancake, we're doing a whole bunch of pre-stretching, getting them ready for the suffering that is to come in the side splits. All right? From here, there's a second muscle group that's getting worked real hard. You probably felt it. It is your hamstrings. Your hamstrings are stretched whenever your hips fold forward. So it doesn't matter if your feet are together, if your feet are apart, if your hips are folding forward, your hamstrings are going to be very mad at you. And that is okay as long as you don't get injured. Okay? So if it's mildly uncomfortable, if it's kind of uncomfortable, it's somewhat uncomfortable, those are all fine. But if you're feeling sharp pain and sharp sensations going, ugh, and you feel like you just got shocked, that is probably a little bit too much, and you should dial back the intensity a little bit. All right. Whew. With that, we're ready to move on to something a little gentler, something a little bit easier. We're going to move on into our fourth stretch. The fourth stretch is the figure four or the pigeon. And it looks a little bit like this. We're crossing one leg across just above our knee. We'll bring that leg up to our belly button. We'll bring the belly button down to that ankle. And from the side, it's going to look a little bit like this. Ooh, I'm off balance. Can't stand still. There we go. Boom. We're going to feel the stretch a lot out here. Technically, this is a glute muscle, but it's the side of your hip. All right? Whew. Pretty sure last night I did the pigeon. So we're going to demonstrate the figure four. You have the option to do either one. And I just happen to explain one per evening because explaining two is a lot. All right? Let's go. For the figure four, we're going to lay down on the ground. Oh. If you're super tired already, try not to fall asleep, but laying down on the ground might feel really comfortable. Oh, if your floor is cold and you're sweating, it might also feel real nice. All right, cross one leg over to the other knee. From here, we're going to take one hand through the triangle we just made, the other hand around the leg that is not crossed, and we're going to pull that leg in towards our chest. Take a second, breathe, inhale, exhale. On that exhale, pull the leg in a little bit more. Again, inhale, exhale, pull the leg in a little bit more. Pull a little bit more, pull a little bit more, pull a little bit more, and once Your legs are nice and tight, and you don't want to pull anymore. We're ready to start. 30 seconds. Let's go. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. If you're feeling a whole bunch of achiness in that knee right here, feel free to cup the knee and pull it in directly and see if you can get into a deeper stretch with a little bit of knee support. All right? 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, that's it. Let the leg drop. Let the other leg come into a natural resting position. Let your arms drop to either side. And you can let your knees fall to either side. Get a little bit of a low back stretch for a couple of seconds here. And we're going to move on into part two. We got to do the other leg. All right? So we're back here in this position. We're crossing the leg over to the other side. We're reaching our hand through the triangle around the not crossed leg. And we're, hold on, I'm going to spin around like a turtle. We're in here, in this position. We're pulling that leg in towards our chest, adjusting that ankle so it doesn't slip off, pulling that leg into our chest. Breathe, exhale, pull some more. Breathe, pull some more. Breathe, pull some more. In, 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. This whole time you should be breathing nice and slow, relaxed, gentle, and not holding your breath because that will never help. 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Relax the leg, relax the arms, drop the leg, uncross it, and you can let the hips fall side to side. Keep your low back, a little bit of relaxation. We have finished 4 of our 5 stretches. We're about to get into our side splits. If you're just joining in, you're like, what the heck is this guy doing flopping around on the floor? We're doing 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work. We do this every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern, which means we started 43 minutes ago. And we do this every day to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community, and to make the struggling and the suffering that we do on the floor a little bit more fun, a little bit more enjoyable. So, if you like that, if you like the show so far, make sure to hit follow, hit subscribe, because we do this every single day to help you and me, because I don't have the side splits yet, and you'll see that in a second, practice consistency to work on the things that we care about every single day. And if you don't care about the side splits, know that everything that we do actually helps you to move your hips a little bit better too. So, stick around. All right, let's go. Come on back up from whatever position that you were just in. Let's talk about safety. I want you to stand each 12 inches in front of a wall. All right. For most people, that's going to be 1.5 steps in front of the wall. From here, I want you to open up your legs and get wide. If you've gotten so wide that you're feeling a pinching sensation here in your hips, and you're like, ooh, that doesn't feel good, you've gone too far. Bring your legs back in just a little bit, and when that sensation is gone, you're ready to fold. The reason why we're standing in front of this wall is because after we folded, we're basically in this position. We're trying to get deeper and wiggle and shake and get our butts down into a deeper stretch. When you're squirming, when you're shaking, when you're wobbling, sometimes you go a little too far and you start falling backwards, nice and slow, and you're like, no. But if you're really close to the wall and you start falling backwards, your butt will rest on the wall and everything will be fine. You just do a little hip thrust, and all of a sudden you're back and you're doing your side splits again. All right? So that's why we stand 8 to 12 inches in front of the wall.
Usually, very often, I demonstrate falling on my butt and it hurts, so I'm not going to do it today either. I didn't do it yesterday. But hopefully, you believe me, and now you're standing 8 to 12 inches in front of the wall. All right? From here, again, if your legs are ready, they're not pinched, they're going not going down into the ground. When you're here, we're sticking our hands down in the ground, like so. If you cannot reach the ground in your situation, you got options. You can use something like yoga blocks to elevate your hands a little bit. If you don't have yoga blocks, you can use old textbooks, other things that are probably close to worthless, but you feel bad throwing them away. Use those things, all right? If you have a stool, feel free to use that. A chair, go ahead and use that, all right? It'll just bring your hands slightly higher up, and that's okay. From here, we are going to externally rotate each of our legs because we're going to get into our side split position for realsies now, all right? What I want you to do is notice that your feet are down on the ground, your knees are sort of pointing in front, right, towards the camera. Or my knees are pointing towards the camera. That's the direction I'm facing. I don't know what you're doing while you're looking at the stretch video. From here, we are rotating this whole leg backwards. We're going to rotate it back 90 degrees. So the knee is going to go from pointing forward towards you guys to whoosh, pointing straight up into the air. All right? The heel is down, the toes are up, the knees are pointing up, the quad muscles are pointing up. We got to do this on both sides. So put your hands down, get stable if you need to, and boom, other leg. Heels down, toes up, knees up. This is our side split. We have rotated our thigh bones back so they don't smash into our hips. Remember how earlier I was like, hey, if your hips are hurting, bring your legs back in? Well, now that we've rotated our thigh bones, they should not be hurting anymore. And that means the only thing holding you back from a side split is your muscles. So do a little wiggle from side to side, sit in this position, adjust your arms, adjust your legs until you start dropping into a nice and deep side split looking stretch. If at any point you get stuck and you're like, I can't go any further, please, it's okay. You can take a break. You don't have to go further. If you have been on the live for a while and you're finding that you're dropping deeper and deeper and deeper, great. We can continue. From here, I want you to relax your feet. All right. I know earlier I was talking about pointing your toes up into the air and all that stuff. Once your legs are rotated in the right direction, you don't have to have any of those muscles flexed. So relax your calves, relax your feet, relax your toes, relax your glutes, relax your low back. Breathe, sigh, exhale, let out as much air as you can, and relax. Whew. That is our setup. We are in our side splits, or as close to them as we're going to get. 30 seconds, let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27. If you were really close to the wall, like I asked, for your own safety, you might also be close enough to the wall for your butt to be on the wall, resting there like it's a nice chair. That is good. That gives us a little bit of support, helps us feel a little bit more comfortable while we sit into this stretch. 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, that's it. Walk your hands forward. Walk, 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 walk. Pull your legs in underneath you. And we have finished our first side split. You guys can keep kneeling for a second. I'm going to talk about something real quick. You might have noticed that I was in this position where my butt was against the wall, my legs were wide, and we were sitting in something that looked a little bit like a side split, right? And then I shifted my weight forward, put all of my weight onto my palms, leaned forward so that my chest was parallel with the ground, and I was in this position, all right? What I did was basically rotate 90 degrees, right? My chest was here, straight up, and then my chest went down so that was parallel with the ground. Everything else stayed the same. So right now my knees are pointing up, right? And when I walk my hands forward, my knees start pointing towards you guys again. And that is something that will get really confusing if I talk about it another way, but just focus on dropping into this deep stretch and keeping everything locked, holding that same exact posture the whole time throughout, and you'll be good. All right? Whew. I feel like that was really confusing. I'm gonna explain again later. All right, come on back up into standing. For the side splits, we do 3 rounds of side splits, 3 rounds of 30 seconds. And in between each of those rounds, because our legs are so tense and so messed up from the previous side split, we're going to shake out the tension as much as we can to relax our muscles and help us get into a deeper second side split and help us get into a deeper third side split. All right. So what I want you to do is I want you to stand up, put all your weight into one leg, and I want you to flick one ankle around. I want the ankle to be relaxed. I want it to be chill. You can start nice and slow and gentle. And I want the ankle to just go wherever it can. I want to go to the left, to the right, to the front, to the back, in circles, and just flap around. All right? The reason why we're emphasizing the ankle is because everything above it will have to be relatively relaxed in order to allow your ankles to flop, right? You have to flex a muscle in order to bring your toes up. You got to flex a muscle, several, to point your toes down, to the left, to the right. All those things require muscles. But if you're doing this and you're shaking out the leg, all those muscles have to be relaxed. And that's what we care about, relaxation. All right? So kick those legs, flop, 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 and we're ready to switch to the other side. All your weight in one leg, relax the ankle, flop, 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 flop. If you do only one style of flopping, you can change and do it a little bit differently. Go back and forth, go side to side, go in circles. I don't know. Do whatever you want. Just relax that ankle and try to relax as many muscles as possible. Once you've done that for a little bit and your legs are feeling a little bit looser, we're going to take some time to work on our hips. What we want you to do is, once again, put all of your weight into one leg. On the other leg, I want you to put the big toe down on the ground. Now, with this knee slightly bent, I want you to rotate the leg in and out and in and out and in and out. What I want you to do is focus on contracting the two muscles or the two areas of your hip where you are rotating the leg in and rotating the leg out. Notice the rest of the body is not moving. The only thing that's moving is this thigh bone where it connects into the hip. All right. As you get more comfortable with this, as you get more control with this, you don't have to, so dramatically bend your knee. You can relax it a little bit more. You can wiggle a little bit faster. You can wiggle, 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 wiggle until your whole entire leg just starts flopping all over the place like a little piece of jello, and they'll be relaxed. Other side. All your weight is in one leg. Dropping the toe down on the other side. Knee is bent. In, out, in, out, in, out. When you don't have quite as much control over the muscles, yet when you don't have the speed and the power to really shake aggressively, you can just focus on the form and the technique. All right? Just controlling the muscles. Again, you don't have to be as bent as I'm demonstrating because I'm trying to make sure you can see the difference. You don't have to show anybody. You can stand up a little bit straighter. You can in, out, in, out, in, out. You can do some stanky legs. You can make it fun and make it enjoyable because we're already doing hip stuff. At least put your hips to work to make it fun, right? From here, if you'd like, you can pick up the pace and straighten out the leg. You have absolutely no weight on the leg that's spinning, and you can shake so hard your leg starts looking like this made of jello, and your quads start flopping back and forth. Cool. That is our coolie, relaxy, floppy, floppy stuff. We're gonna get into side split number 2. Stand 8 to 12 inches in front of the wall is 1.5 footsteps for most people. Open up those legs nice and wide. If your hips are pinching, if they're hurting right here, you've gone too far. Bring your legs back in, and we're ready to begin. Fold that belly button down into the ground. If your hands reach, awesome. If they don't, feel free to elevate them with something. From here, see if you get a little deeper into that stretch. When you're folded forward, it's going to be easier to get into a wider position. All right? From here, we're going to do the most important thing of this whole entire show to get us into our side splits. We're rotating this leg and that leg back 90 degrees. So our feet were flat on the ground, our knees were pointed towards you guys through the camera, and we're going to rotate it back 90 degrees so that the knee is pointing up, the toes are pointing up, the heels are down. And we're going to do that on the other side as well. If you need to, make sure your hands are down for support while you do that. Boom, heels down, toes up, knees up. From here, our thigh bones are rotated out of the way so they do not smash into our pelvis, into our hip bone. So the only thing holding you back is probably the friction under your sticky feet
and the length of your muscles. All right, let's go. Do a little wiggle from side to side. Ooh, we're in the side splits already. And if you get stuck at any point, you're like, I can't go any further, it's perfectly fine. That's a good place to stop. That's a perfect place to rest. If you can go further, go for it. If you cannot, don't worry about it. All right? Everything takes time and consistency, which is what we're here to do. Let's go. Keep wiggling. Keep wiggling. Keep wiggling. Keep wiggling. Keep wiggling. If you're close enough to the wall, you can walk your hands backwards, rest your butt against the wall. This will put you in a nice straddle position if you happen to dance or do gymnastics. And you can chill here. Relax the calves, relax the toes, relax the glutes, relax the low back, relax as much as you can. Sit in that deep position, breathe, and if you can drop a little bit lower, drop a little bit lower. I talked about this earlier. If you walk your hands forward and you keep your body in the same shape the whole time, so all you did is rotate back 90 degrees, you might find that your chest is parallel with the ground and your knees are pointing right back at the camera again, or my knees are pointing right back at the camera again. If you are folded forward nice and deep, this is okay. Okay? If you're really high up, it's gonna cause your hips to pinch again, and we don't want that. So keep folding forward. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24. Remember, you can always do a little wiggle from side to side so you can get just a little bit deeper. Break the friction, holding your feet back. 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Walk your hands forward. Oh, that is our second side split. The more you walk your hands forward, the easier it will be to bring your legs in from behind you. And that is our second side split. Woo. Oh, man. Okay. Whew. You ready? We're going to get up. We're going to stand. We're going to shake out our legs. And we're going to get our third one done. Let's go. Oh, come on, back up into standing. As soon as you stop waddling around like a drunk penguin, we are ready to start shaking it out. All your weight is in one leg. Shake out that ankles. Get your legs loose. Flop, 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 flop. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Shake, 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 shake. Imagine that you are a wet, soggy, overcooked piece of noodle or spaghetti and just flop around and switch to the side. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop, 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 flop. Add your arms in. They need some relaxation too because they're holding up your body weight underneath you during those side splits. And hold it. Your ankles, your calves, the muscles under your knee are a little bit more relaxed. Next up, all your weight is in one leg. Big toe, the other foot is down on the ground. There's almost no weight on that toe, by the way. We're going to rotate leg in and out and 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 in and out. And as you get more comfortable using those muscles, you don't need to exaggerate as much. You can just let that knee relax, stand up a little straighter. Still no weight on that leg, all right? And keep on shaking. Shake it out, 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 shake it out. Let the leg relax, go fast, go fast, go fast, go fast, and switch to the side. In, out, 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 in, out. And as you get more and more comfortable with it, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Your whole entire quad should be floppy, should be loose, should be relaxed. If you can't get it quite up to speed just yet, that is a-okay. Take your time and build up the control. All right? Last thing, almost forgot it. You can add in some stanky legs. All right, we're working on hip mobility, we're working on movement. You can at least put it to work, put it to use. You can practice it now, so when you need to break out the dance moves later, you can make sure they look smooth. All right, nobody's judging you right now. So get your moves in. With that, we're ready to get into our third and final side split. All right, I want you to stand 8 to 12 inches in front of the wall, so that if you start falling backwards, the wall will catch your butt, and you'll be all safe. Open up those legs nice and wide.
Focus on letting the belly button down into the ground. Whee! Put your hands down if you can. If you cannot, you can feel free to elevate them to give yourself a little bit of support. If you can and you still want support, you can absolutely also use a chair. All right. From here, we're going to rotate the legs. Our knees are currently pointed towards the camera, pointed to the front. And what we want to do is rotate them so that they're pointing up. Heels down, toes up, knees up. Other side is the same. Heels up, heels down, toes up, knees up. From here, we have rotated our legs so that the only thing holding you back is the friction in your feet and the muscles in your hips and hamstrings and adductors and those other muscles that are in our hips. Anyways, we're here. This is our side splits. All right, congratulations. It's time to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Moving from side to side, go a little bit deeper into your stretch. Keep going. Shake, shake, squirm, squirm, wiggle, 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 wiggle. Get as deep as you can. If you are really close to that wall, you can sit back against it for a little bit of support, and that'll make the stretch a little easier, a little bit more chill, a little bit more stable. When you're already seated, as deep as you can relax your feet, you can relax your calves, you can relax your quads, you can relax your glutes, you can relax your lower back, and you can just breathe. Exhale, reduce, release the tension. From here, we're ready to begin. 30 seconds, let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, almost done. 3, 2, 1, 0. That's it. Walk your hands forward. The more you walk, the more you'll pull your legs in, and the easier it will be to get out of that stretch. Oh man, that is our third and final side split. We're done with all the hard stuff. We got one last round of shaky, shaky, wiggly, relaxy stuff. We're gonna do some joint checks, and then we'll be done. Oh, if somehow you just joined in for the very tail end, we basically just wrapped up 60-ish minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work. We do this every single day to practice consistency, the number one most important quality, and to build a little bit of community and to make the suffering, the struggling that we just did a little bit more fun, a little bit more entertaining, so that it just doesn't feel as bad. Okay, so that you want to do it more, so you can be more consistent. So if you like that, if you like the premise of the show, make sure to follow, subscribe, keep coming back. We're live every day at 9 p.m. Eastern. That means we started about an hour ago. All right, come on up out of that side splitty position or whatever position you got into after you got out of the side splits. And let's shake out the legs. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop, 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 flop. Now that we've done a whole bunch of these already, and it's not super important that your muscles are relaxed for the round 4, because we don't have a round 4. I want to tell you that all of this shaky, shaky stuff is all about relaxation. All right. The looser and more relaxed your muscles are, the easier it will be for you to get into a deeper stretch. And that's what we want to do. After the side split, all these muscles are contracting, your hips are crying, they're like, ugh, ugh, and you're walking around like a drunk penguin, right? So what we're doing is trying to force the muscles to relax very, very, very quickly so that we can get them to work like they're supposed to. Or, even be even more relaxed so that you can do crazy stuff like get back into another round of side splits if you want. All right, I think we're shaping out our legs. If you decide that you want to add in something else, you want to make your shakiness a combination of both the things that we were just doing. So we're flicking the ankles out, right? You also want to rotate your legs as you flick at the ankles. You want to combine stuff. As you get more powerful, as you get more skilled, as you get more control over your muscles, you can feel free to add whatever you want. All right. I've set some basics to get us going, and then you can make it as fun as you'd like. Hips, let's go. All your weight is on one leg. Big toe is down on the ground. Knee in, out, 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 in, out. I just saw a crazy emoji. I think it was a head winking at me, but I'm not really sure because I'm kind of far.
from the screen. Oh, I'm so sharp that I choked myself on saliva. All right. Once your hip muscles feeling ready to move on, you can come up to a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more gentle angle. Flop those legs around, shake your legs out like jello. Flop, 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 and whew, other side. Big toe down, legs straight. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Stand up a little straighter, relax the leg, and shake, 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 shake. Your muscles are jello. Whew. That hopefully is enough relaxation for you to go back to whatever you gotta do for the rest of the day. But if the next thing you're gonna do is dance, make sure to throw in some stanky leg on both sides. Have fun with the hips. Put that hip mobility to work and enjoy it. We're gonna jump into some quick joint checks to wrap up, and they look a little bit like this. We're gonna get into some hip circles. Ooh. Usually, after you do side splits, you put your hips, or actually after the show, because we did everything around the hips, a lot of your muscles are going to be a little bit tender. So take this time to sort of go through that full range of motion, fold at the hips, and see what needs a little bit of attention. Usually after the side splits, I feel it real tensely in the left and right side of the hip, and so I like to spend a little bit of time on the other side. My low back is perpetually tight and achy, so I like to lean forward a little bit, do a little wriggle, do a little relaxing. And once your hips are feeling a little bit looser, we're ready to move on. Do a quick high knee. Boom. Your knees go up, you're fine. You can keep on going. You don't have to dwell on this. Next, we're going to do a little bit of a squat. We're going to do a calf raise. But there's one thing I'd like to highlight. I don't think I talked about it yesterday, but I want you to focus on your toes and focus on your feet a little bit. All right? Your toes, just like your hands, are able to do a lot of complex movement, and most of us are not doing any complex movement at all. Just like how we were doing the thoracic rotation earlier, and the last time you rotated was probably pretending to check your blind spot while driving. You know, like we don't really do that much with some of these body parts, and those muscles start falling asleep and become less useful, and all of a sudden we start having problems that we're like, hey, where is this coming from? I used to be able to walk perfectly fine with balance. What's going on? A lot of the time, it could be because your feet muscles have weakened. When your toes don't move at all, they do not help you balance. All right? Your toes can spread. Your toes can apply pressure into the ground. You can clench your toes down and make little fists. You can do the opposite. You can lean forward on them so far that your toes look like they're going to snap off underneath you. You can rotate the ankles like the floor is way too cold. You're like, ee, that's so cold. You can rest on the sides of your foot. You can do a whole bunch of things with your feet as they get stronger, as they get more mobile. That will be useful skills. All right. If you sprint at all, I don't know when the last time some of you might have sprinted, you'll know that most of that power comes from the ball of your foot and your toes. You're not smashing your heel down when you sprint. Usually you're leaning forward, and it's the balls of your foot that are generating the most force, and that's putting a lot of pressure onto your toes. So don't sleep on your feet. Make sure they move, and we're going to do a little bit using them right now. I want you to pop into a squat. All right. Keep your feet relatively close together, hips width apart. We're going to squat down. Bring your chest down to your knees. And from here, you might be feeling like, oh, you're going to tip forward a little bit. If you're feeling like you're tipping, that's a good sign because that is what's going to cause your toes to start activating and working hard. Your toes should be gripping the floor right now, trying to keep you balanced instead of letting you fall forward onto your face. All right, that's what we want. When your toes are gripping real hard in the ground, it should be possible for the arch of your foot to also be arching kind of hard to really grip down into the ground. And that is what we want to get the feet activated. From here, I want you to push your knees forward, past your toes if you can. If you can't, that's fine. Just push your knees forward. And you should feel a whole bunch of stretch in your Achilles tendon and in your calves. You can poke those calves, double check that they're getting stretched, they're feeling tense, and your quads are probably crying a little bit right now, and your low back is probably going, we're almost done. We are. We're almost done. Put your fingers down just a little bit. Do a couple of calf raises. Imagine that you're trying to balance the weight in between your big toe and your index toe when you're coming up. All right. And if you don't need your fingers, you don't need your hands for balance, keep on going. Do as many as you'd like. You don't have to do that many. But if you're able to pull those off smoothly, or maybe not so smoothly because you're working on the technique, whatever the situation is. What we just did was we forced our toes to work really well with our feet, with our Achilles tendon, with our calves, with the muscles around the knee, the tibialis muscle up that leg, our quad muscles, our low back, and we forced all the joints to be able to work together, apply force, balance, and then do some calf raises while doing all those things. All right. So hopefully you know that your legs are working pretty good and you're ready to go do other stuff that you gotta do today. All right. Thank you so much for coming in, practicing consistency, working on your hip mobility, working on your side splits with me today. I am ready to wrap up with some Q&A. I'm going to look at the comments that I have been ignoring for the whole entirety of the live. I try to make sure we get through all of the stretchy content as fast as possible so that the people who need to go have the ability to go when they need to go. All right. But now that I'm done with that stuff, I'm going to come over and read some chat. Whee! Okay. How we doing? All right. Over on YouTube, we got a couple of highs. Eduardo was back. Hello, hello. And oh man, that's crazy. Wanna go for a drive says you're the sanest person on my YouTube algorithm. That's horrifying. But I hope you get more sane stuff later after this. The Alexander says I'm back. Welcome back, Alexander. And yeah, I don't know what that means. So we're gonna keep going. Over on TikTok, I don't think we got as many comments today because I have been not reading them as much, so I have not been encouraging good behavior. Mary says hello. Bavitra says thank you so much. Slowlita says see you tomorrow. Thank you everybody for coming. Thank you for being here, and I hope you come back for tomorrow. User 708681 says thank you. Shiro Tsuki Hana says thank you. Cat G, welcome back, says thank you. And Slowlita says, we did it, Joe. Who's Joe? Joe, wave your hand. I don't know if you can. Joe, write another comment. Kilmar says, thanks, Ken. You're welcome, Kilmar. Thank you for coming back. It's good to see you. And I'm going to scroll real quick to see what else we got, see if there's any questions. Josh Tree 21 says, wow, I almost got to the floor. Amazing, Josh. That's awesome. Josh let me know a couple of days ago that he was doing some of the Cossack switches with a kettlebell, I believe, or a dumbbell, and working on some really intense work. A lot of the warm-up exercises you can actually a lot of the stretches and a lot of the warm-up you can absolutely use some external weight to help weigh you down, to help push you a little bit deeper. I don't recommend that you start with that because before you figure out how you want to fold, how you are supposed to move, adding external pressure is just going to make bad form worse, right? So, but once you know what you want and you got some time and some experience under your belt, feel free to use as much weight as you can to support your goals. All right. I'm gonna keep scrolling. Give me a sec. Chareth, Emperor of Prep. Welcome back. Thank you, thank you. Abby says last stretch was brutal. I wish I knew when that came in, but if that was from the side splits, it absolutely is. Especially when you get to the third one. I find that the relaxing and the kicking and the floppy stuff around is really helpful for making the next side split feel a little bit looser, a little bit more comfortable. But by the time you get to the third side split, it's getting out of it that is awful, and you're just like trying to drag your legs back together. So I say this a lot more now than before, like really crawl forward and your legs will just naturally drift in behind you so you don't have to use your muscle power to pull them in. What else we got? What else we got? What else we got? Ooh, a lot of gifts. Susie sent a first gift. Thank you so much, Susie. I appreciate it. What else? Kat says, nope,
That hurts. Cat, which stretch were you talking about? Oh, Cat also has followed the life. Thank you. Rella says, "Hey, how are you doing? I'm good. I am fully stretched and fully wrapped up. We got an hola linda noche. It is a beautiful evening. I mean, this room is just yellow and white, but it's beautiful outside, I guess. Josh Tree says that was a good one. Awesome. Okay. I think I have hit most of the comments. I'm going to scroll real quick fast to the top to see if there's anything else. And then I'll be right back down into the bottom. Yvette says, "Oh my God." Hey, welcome back, Yvette. It's good to see you. Yvette, several days ago, I think Sunday night, was asking about more morning workouts. If you guys are interested in more morning workouts, let me know in the chat if you're still on. There's still like 50 of you, but there was 40 earlier, so it's like 15 of you are brand new people who have not heard anything from me yet, and so you're probably really confused. But we just did 60 something minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work. And we do this every single day to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community and make suffering that is stretching and stretching every day a little bit more fun, a little bit more entertaining. So if you need help practicing consistency, if you want to work on your hip mobility, your side splits, keep on coming back. We're live every day at 9 p.m. Eastern. If you're not in the Eastern time zone, this live started an hour and 16 minutes ago. So subtract an hour and 16 minutes from whatever your time is, and that is when our live is daily. I think we got a couple more comments over on YouTube. The Alexander says mornings would be nice. Okay, that's another vote for mornings from our regulars. That is a good sign to maybe start working on some morning stuff. Yvette says, what are all these stretching exercises good for? That's a great question. So the hips literally connect your upper body and your lower body. All right, and where do I begin with this? Because your hips connect your lower body and your upper body, having a lot more mobility in your hips lets you do a lot of cool things. One of them is spending time on the floor a little bit more comfortably, right? Being able to get up off the floor without your hands, for example, being able to do cool things like that. Immediately off the bat, you're like, why would I want to do that? I can sit in a chair, maybe, right? Those are real, truthful statements. It helps if you have a reason to be on the floor. If you're hanging out with little kids that are crawling around, if you want to be able to interact, you want to be able to hang out, you want to be comfortable on the floor, there's a really good reason to get really more mobility in your hips, being able to move a little bit better in your hips. If that is not something you're super interested in, another thing that really helps is being able to get off the floor, especially as you age. Probably not relevant to a lot of you, but as you age, getting up off the floor is going to get more and more and more difficult. And that is going to severely impact your mobility and independence, right? Doesn't You don't lose all of that overnight. So if you work on it a little bit, you maintain some mobility, you maintain some strength, so you're able to come up off the ground in a variety of different ways. You're able to shift around, grab things, do stuff. That is all going to serve you really well when you need it one day. Might not be today. You might not need any of the skills that we do right now at this exact moment, because I mean, how often do you need to be in this position? Very, very infrequently, right? But training these positions, as you lose mobility, as you lose elasticity in the muscles, that happens with age. When you've lost as much as there is to lose, and you're still moving well, that will be really good for you. That, I guess, is my best vague answer. The more specific stuff really depends on what's going on with your own hips. All right. I have noticed, based on my seated posture, I like to sit and I like to like slop a little bit to the side. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I do this. And my seated posture in a chair like that for like 8 hours a day or 10 hours or 12, however many hours I do, has resulted in one side of one hip being a little bit higher than the other, just a fraction, and it makes me lazy on one side. I'm always leaning a little bit, and that does not help, right? A lot of people might be like, "Oh no, that's totally normal. What are you talking about?" But those little behavior patterns, those little things that we take for normal, actually impact how our hips balance. And sometimes those things start adding up, and they add up in weird ways. For example, if you're always sort of leaned off to the side, one hip might start coming up, and that hip being higher starts impacting your knees when you come down into a step. You might be rotating a little bit more in certain things, and that stuff adds up when you're walking 30,000 steps, or adds up when you're walking 50,000 steps. When you need to do something and you're doing it off by just a little bit, over time, that slowly starts to build, and then you have like this weird pain that you can't quite figure out. And you're like, why does this hurt? Is this age? Am I just getting old? And a lot of the time, it's these tiny little things where part of your hip muscles got real weak, part of your hip muscles maybe got really strong because you've been sitting for a long time. They got really strong in this position, but all the other muscles got really weak because you don't use those muscles. And now your strong muscles are pulling your weak muscles a little bit out of alignment all the time when you're standing or just hanging out. And slowly that adds up. So I guess that's also a kind of vague, cryptic reason to work on hip mobility. But the more control, the more awareness, the more thought you have in the experience of your hips, in your balance, in your whatever it is going on, the easier it will be to be like, hey, something is weird, and now I can figure out how to address it. Right? That's the most important part. If you go talk to a doctor, they're probably gonna be like, you're not weird. This is normal walking, and it's true. It's normal walking, but most normal people also walk with a lot of like pain and discomfort and have all sorts of weird little nagging things, right? So uh, being able to move well is important for that, to help get rid of those relatively weird, naggy things that don't make any sense to you, because all of a sudden your body's moving a little bit better. Um, I should give you a better example, and I'm thinking of a better example. I got a better example. Oftentimes, because we spend so much time slouched in a chair, our mid back is very not mobile. All right, that means we struggle with sort of moving in and out, pulling our shoulder blades back and trying to sit up a little straighter and contract a whole bunch of muscles here, try to like straighten out our spine, and then all of a sudden these muscles like hurt and they're like, ugh, and everything sucks, right? When that is compounded with hips that don't move very well and don't move as they're supposed to, oftentimes your low back is what suffers. A lot of low back pain happens because the low back is not designed to move very well. But we force it to move a lot because the rest of our body does not move well. So if your hips don't move well, you need to be able to do something, right? If your hips are doing something where they're arched back like this and you need to stand up straight, where's the pressure going? It's right here in your low back, right? If your shoulders and your upper back are not able to open up to help you stand up straight, and you're just trying to stick your chest up into the air, where is that pressure going? It's going right back into your low back. So if you have a lot of this weird low back pain that's always tired, that's always strained, sometimes that is from the hips and the chest and the mid back not being able to be as mobile as they need to be for the things that you gotta do in daily life. Can I think of a more specific example right now? No, my brain is fried. That's all I got. Uh, but if you want to hear more, I can probably find out more stuff and share it with you. I hope that kind of answers your question. Okay. Scrolling down, see if there's anything else in here. Josh says being flexible brings more confidence. Oh, that's great. I'm really glad because you're like celebrating how much deeper you're getting into your stretches, and you're also saying it gives you confidence. That's awesome. What else? What else? What else? What else? Shiro says, "Oh, that's a great example." Oh, great. I'm glad that was useful. I felt like I was just ranting and making stuff up on the spot, and I was I can't even remember what I said at this point. So, I'm glad there was something useful in there. Okay, we are about 84 minutes into the live. I think it is time for me to wrap up. I'm not seeing any more comments coming in. So that's it. And that's it for me. I
hope you guys had fun. I hope you're a little bit more relaxed now because it's been a little bit since we wrapped up the stretching portion. And I hope you've had a lot of fun and you plan to come on back. We are live every day at 9 p.m. Eastern. The weekend is coming up pretty soon. So we also have a live at 9 a.m. Eastern. So if you prefer an a.m. show, that is our Saturday and Sunday mornings. But otherwise, 9 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Sunday. All right, every day. If you like that, if you need a little bit of help practicing consistency, if you need a little bit of support working on your hip mobility, trying to get a little bit more flexible, this is the place to be, and we're doing it every day. Oh, Shiro asks, are you doing morning stretches, or is that something you're thinking about? I'm thinking about the morning stretches. I already spent an hour and a half ish on the evening stretches, so I'm not quite sure that I'm going to do the exact same format for the regular morning stretches. On the weekends, weekend mornings, right now, it's still the same show that you just experienced, except for the morning. And that also takes like an hour and a half. So on the weekends, I spend 3 hours doing the live, and I'm not sure I am going to be capable of applying that much more time to this. So I'm trying to be careful what I promise and what I overpromise and underdeliver because I don't want to underdeliver, and uh, especially because I don't really need to be doing any more side splits. My hamstrings are sore all the time, and so I need to change up something. And what that is going to be, I'm still working on trying to figure out for myself because it still has to make sense in my life, right? And I would love to be able to offer something cool for everybody else to do. And we'll see how that goes. Cool. So, no, there is no other morning live, but on Saturday and Sunday mornings, we have our normal Saturday, Sunday morning lives, and Monday through Sunday, every single day of the week, we have our evening 9 p.m. live. That was an hour and 27 minutes ago when we started. Cool. Okay. Whew. Long, rambly answers are over. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much, and good night. Oh, hi, Floors. Goodbye, Floors. Oh.